So, the first one is that they're very self-centered. Their needs always come first. The second one is that they are not remorseful when they make a mistake. They don't care if, they do something that might hurt somebody or that they're, quite mean. They don't care. Number 3 is that they're generally quite unreliable. They're not very dependable. Don't really care about the consequences of their hurtful actions. So that sort of ties in with, they don't have any remorse because they just don't care. Number 5 is that they project their faults onto others, and they are very good at always blaming others. It is never their fault. Number 6 is that they're insensitive to the needs of others, and they're not able to understand when someone's distressed or upset, and they don't want to understand. Number 7 is that they have a really sort of good persona when they're in public, because they want to be able to exploit people, and at home they can be a completely different person in their intimate family. They can be quite nasty towards their partner, quite controlling. They might alienate that partner and not allow them to have friends or to see family outside of the relationship. They're very controlling in the relationship. But when they're out socializing with friends, they are maybe always smiling, they're always charming. They can be a completely different person, and that is why it's so hard to convince people that this person is actually quite destructive and is quite hurtful, because they like wearing different masks. They have a happy mask, they have an empathetic mask, so they pretend that they understand how someone is feeling, and they sort of act really well to convince people that they're actually good people when deep down they're not. They don't have any moral. Usually their morals are quite loose. So another thing that they do is that they have very low stress tolerance. So they get easily upset, they get easily annoyed. So yeah, that's another one. They manipulate others a lot of the time. This was also part of the DSM criteria, but I'm just going to list it anyway. So they're very manipulative. They're pathological liars. A lot of them tell lies all the time to manipulate, to exploit. They, like I said before, they're very controlling, so they'll control people financially. They might control a partner sexually. They might withhold sex. They might withhold affection. If they are the ones that earn most of the money, they might keep money from the partner and not allow the partner to spend any money. Not allow the partner to have a job, so the partner then is dependent on them and can't leave. If the relationship fails, they're not able to leave because they don't have any money. So yeah, control with them is kind of in all areas. Another thing that they do is that they hang on to resentment quite a lot. They find it very hard to forgive others if they do something that they don't like. And it could be something really minor. It could be something like somebody criticizing them and telling them that they didn't like the way that they spoke to them on the phone. It could be very simple, and they're not going to be very happy that that person has told them that they're not happy about something they've done, because don't forget, they're never wrong, they're never to blame. It's always another person's fault. They don't have remorse, so all these things tie into it. Another thing is that they like to create chaos and drama. And I don't know if they're particularly aware of it all of the time. Some of the time I think they are. Some of the time I think they're just so addicted to drama and chaos that they just do things that create it. But that's a very it's a very common characteristic of a narcissist. Another thing is that they have no real values, and their values change according to what situation that they might find themselves in. So their values are quite situational. They can switch from nice person, nice guy, to really angry or really sad very quickly. So they have quite extreme changes in mood, which is also something to watch out for. Some narcissists are not very good with money. Some of them spend too much. Some of them are too tight with money. Like I said before, they're very controlling with money. They might spend a huge amount of money on a really expensive car for their wife, but they might not give their daughter, money for her education. They don't really show that they appreciate what you do. They're really good at taking and taking and taking. until you're left with nothing, and then you don't even get a thanks for it at the end, which is quite upsetting, you know. It's not a very nice feeling. They really enjoy using threats and guilt tripping to control others. They are only kind to others when they get what they want. If somebody goes against what they believe about something or about themselves, they're not going to like it. So they're only going to be nice to other people when those people comply with their wishes, comply with their needs, comply with their wants. When they talk about things, it somehow is that it's like they announce something. They sort of say, right, we're going to do this today. It's not, they don't sort of have a discussion with someone. They don't ask them, would you like to do this? Is this all right with you? They say, no, we're going to do this today. So they announce, they don't discuss. And they also tell that they don't ask. So they will say, we're doing this. Would you like to do this? Would be the normal approach. No, they don't ask. They tell you that that is how it's going to be. And that's another 5 I've got left. 5 more characteristics that I think are really important. A lot of narcissists always have to be right. They always want to win. They always want to be, top of the game. And if somebody disagrees, once again, or is better than them, they don't like it. Another thing is that sometimes they feel quite misunderstood by others. And they think it's the other person's fault, not that they have done something. And this is sometimes a reason why a lot of their relationships or friendships fail. And also, in jobs and in social situations, if something goes wrong, if they feel that someone's misunderstood them, it's never that they will self-reflect and think, maybe I did something. It's actually the other person, always. It's always the other person's fault. They don't really listen when someone is talking about something important to them, because they don't really care. They might pretend that they're listening, but they're not really listening. Unless, they only listen unless there's something in it for them. So it's always about what they can gain. So a narcissist is quite draining to be around. When you are with these sort of people, you feel really tired instantly, really miserable. And that is because they are just miserable. They are just negative. There's nothing nice about them. It might be like that at the beginning, where they have this sort of happy mask on and this charming mask where they sort of make you believe that they're really nice people and really charming and really successful. But actually, the closer you get to them, the more you realize how negative these people are. And I think this is something I mentioned before, but I'll list it anyway, that they're very good at reading people so they can manipulate. And narcissists usually tend to go for really kind, really empathetic people, because they know that they can manipulate them easier. So if somebody has low confidence or is very happy to please others as a people pleaser, narcissists will just latch onto them. Okay, so I think that's quite a long list of things. Like I said, I'll attach it below the video in the comments. There'll be a link there for PDF for you to download. I'm also going to do a video about how to deal with narcissists, the do's and the don'ts. Thank you very much for listening.